I remember, as a child, living in a small ranch in Mexico and listening to my mother sing her favorite mariachi songs as she would be making tortillas de harina, flour tortillas, and my favorite pasta, which we knew as fideo. I would sit on the kitchen floor in admiration as her voice was always like an angel singing to my ear. No hace falta que salga la luna pa venir a cantar mi canción. No hace falta que el cielo esté lindo pa venir a entregarte mi amor. If I knew anything as a 4-year-old girl, it was that I wanted to be a famous mariachi singer. You see, my mother wasn't famous. My mother had a passion for music and song. But as a young Mexican woman, it was a dream far-fetched. We migrated to the US a year later, and by the age of 12, I landed in the small city of La Joya, Texas, a city that offered empty land, a great burger joint that we knew as Starlight Burger, and Leo's convenience store that offered the best sweet bread taquitos in the world. I had no earthly idea what I was eating, but they were so good. But this city, it had something special. It had schools that would make dreams like mine come true. It had schools that offered mariachi classes as part of their curriculum, an uncommon thing to see back then. It was then that I took the opportunity to fulfill my childhood dream, and I quickly enrolled in the elective. As I grew older, I continued my studies throughout high school and college. But I soon realized that things were not as easy as I thought they were. And I had encountered the most difficult challenge of my life. I was a woman in a man's territory. The mariachi ensemble has been in existence for more than 100 years, and through time it has developed vastly in sound, and we are experiencing more virtuosic and contemporary arrangements in its music and productions. We have seen the expansion of mariachi groups all over the world, and even in countries that perhaps we might not even think of. But what has remained in a slow change has been the idea of mariachi being a genre that solely belongs to our male counterparts. Some of the best mariachi groups in the world have never and will probably ever have a female be part of their ensembles. Difficult for women like us who have a deep love and devotion for our music and culture to comprehend this logic. Call it machismo or a Mexican ideology, I encountered the difficult task of my talent being accepted in the groups of male mariachi musicians that I used to perform with. As I would belt the notes to a song of heartbreak, no vengo a pedirte amores, ya no quiero tu cariño, si una vez te amé en la vida, no lo vuelvas a decir. Each and every time, thinking diligently in the back of my head, will this be the moment of deserving respect? And only to realize later that not a single word of acknowledgement was made, and taking home only half of the pay because I had missed a couple of notes in my instrument and I had not developed the sound that they were waiting to hear from me. Instead, I was left with painful phrases that pierced my heart each and every time. You will never be a real mariachi because you are a woman, and women are not strong enough for mariachi. Women just don't belong in mariachi. I set out on a quest to study music, and I graduated with a master's degree and returned to work for the district that had allowed me to grow in my dream. As the director of a new high school mariachi program, I grew empowered to teach my students to be all they could be, follow their dreams, and develop a passion for their cultural music. To my surprise, every year, my groups were dominated by females, usually 13 to 15 females, to only a limited number of boys. I figured that this could be the opportunity that I was waiting for to make my female students feel strong of enjoying and producing the music that they had so much appreciation for. Within a few years, my groups won 2 state championships and a multiple number of regional, state, and national awards in voice and performance. In 2013, they were selected to represent the state of Texas at President Obama's inaugural parade, an experience that they will never forget. Although the quest is never ending to empower them to feel capable of achieving the same success as their male counterparts in mariachi, they will eventually, along the way, encounter a similar situation of feeling left out from performing and enjoying the music that belongs to all of us in our culture. Perhaps the newer generations will feel it less than the older ones, but we are being pushed and we are being driven to open our own doors, create our own paths, and let our voices be heard, without there being any limitations to what we can achieve as women. The need for change and growth was evident in the lives of my students, and in particular my life. To help make a change, in June of 2012, I invited the most determined, the most passionate and deserving women to form part of an all-female mariachi group, which I named Mariachi Mariposas, a name that not only implied beauty and grace, but also transformation, a transformation of power and artistic development, with each girl sharing their own unique color in voice and performance. Within 1 year, Mariachi Mariposas had an overwhelming amount of support from our national, state, and local communities. In March of 2013, Mariachi Mariposas was invited to perform at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Mariachi Invitational, a mariachi competition where groups of only a selected number of cities from across Texas are invited to attend and compete for a prize as the best mariachi in the state of Texas, along with a $7,500 prize. Wearing a bright purple outfit, silver gala, beautiful earrings, and gorgeous done hair and makeup, Mariachi Mariposa set out to show the world what we had to offer as women in mariachi. Three rigorous rounds later, and by the applause of 75,000 people at the Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas, we were pronounced the first place winners. Within several days, invitations started pouring in from all over North America. People were seeing something different. They were seeing something spectacular, and they loved and accepted it. They saw women breaking new ground and changing the way we think of mariachi. They saw the strong, the capable, and certainly the most qualified. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a teacher. I am a Mexican. I am a mariachi.